The more you reveal your pain, the more people may want to hurt you. Although this doesn't always happen, it's common for some to take pleasure in seeing you suffer or even contribute to it. This sadistic and envious behavior, unfortunately, exists in many and can hinder your personal growth in various areas of life, whether at work, within a circle of friends, or even among family. Thus, learning not to show your weaknesses can become a strength. Picture yourself as a tree in a storm. The leaves may flutter, the branches may sway, but the trunk remains solid, deeply rooted in the earth. This is the image of silent resilience that we will teach here. We'll talk about how you can become even stronger by showing that you're not easily affected by external or internal challenges. Every difficulty teaches you to be like the tree, steady and grounded. Acting as though nothing can bother you doesn't mean denying the storm, but choosing not to let the rain soak you or the wind knock you down. You'll learn to be the master of your own fate, firm, strong, and serene in a sea of chaos. In this video, we'll explore 18 Stoic principles from Epictetus, a renowned philosopher you've probably heard of. I also invite you to embark on a journey of self-knowledge, where strength doesn't come from the thunder's noise, but from the quiet light that illuminates your path. For the next few minutes, focus on the content and not on daily distractions. Let's go. Principle number 1. Listen twice as much as you speak. Have you ever thought about why nature gave us 2 ears, but only 1 mouth? According to Epictetus, there is no error or coincidence in this, but rather a clear purpose behind this reality, not to fall in love with our voice as much as we are called to fall in love with the voice of others. It is by learning from others that we advance in life, not by repeating our own speech over and over again. So, from today, start paying more attention to what people around you say and less to what you have been upholding until now. Principle number 2. Always expect the worst. One of the biggest causes of anxiety and its devastating consequences is believing that unfavorable circumstances are waiting for us in the future. We fear that our children will abandon their studies, that we will be fired from work, that our spouse will confess to us that they have been having an affair and ask for a divorce, or that something else bad will happen, such as going bankrupt. The problem is that one day we fear one of these problems, and the next day, another and another. The path of life, in addition to reserving good and happy parts for us, also reserves a handful of problems that are inevitable. Therefore, we live in permanent stress caused by different stimuli each day. This is where Epictetus comes into the picture. His proposal, as drastic as it is effective, is to think that all these things you fear so much have already happened. So, what could be worse? In this way, your spirit will develop coping strategies to move forward with your head held high. Principle number 3. Prepare to fail because it is the only way to progress. We do the impossible so that we are not considered fools, but Epictetus has another view on this. According to his philosophy, one of the best things that can happen to you is to be considered a fool, as this is the way for you to truly improve professionally and personally. The Stoic philosopher reminds us that overcoming is not the product of a spontaneous reaction, but rather the result of a long path of trial and error. It is through error that we can polish what distances us from excellence. Principle number 4. Be aware of the dangers of fortune. This wealth that we desire brings with it a stigma from which few people can free themselves. It's not just about the people who will emerge from nowhere to benefit from our fortune by pretending a friendship they don't feel for us. Money has the ability to transform people, and not necessarily for the better. Once we possess this highly coveted resource, we come to have something we didn't know we had before. It is from that moment that our spirit may begin to poison itself in the face of the loss of moral values. Principle number 5. Do not cling to a single hope. Fortunately, we are beings inclined to practice diversity. There is no reason to put all our hopes in a single dream, as this could be devastating if we fail in it. Therefore, Epictetus encourages us to pursue many dreams, as this will exponentially increase our chances of success. Principle number 6. Always remember that death is waiting at the end of the road. This is not advice that calls us to pessimism, but to awareness. Death is the final destination of all our actions and especially our efforts. Once we have this in mind, perhaps we will start to evaluate to what extent it is worth spending 20 years of our limited life saving to pay for a house that we will not be able to take with us once death visits us. Just as we carry in our bag those objects we consider indispensable for daily life, such as a phone, credit cards, and our toothbrush, it would greatly benefit us to carry a small notebook with these Stoic principles. Thanks to them, we will no longer see setbacks as misfortunes or life as eternal time we have at our disposal, but we will acquire a more realistic view of our existence and certainly make better use of our time. Principle number 7. True wealth lies in a contented spirit. Due to Stoicism, Epictetus had a particular conception of happiness, and we can know it through one of his famous phrases: "A wise man is one who does not fret over the things he does not have but rejoices in those he does have." This reflection is more than a thought. It is advice to stop feeling afflicted by the riches that are not yet part of our life. While we allow ourselves to complain and mourn for what we lack, we lose valuable minutes of happiness in which we could thank life for everything we have achieved so far, which is much more than our eyes are trained to appreciate. Thus, a rich person is, above all, a happy person. Principle number 8. Incorporate humility into your life. If you really want to learn something, it is essential to approach it with humility. Through the phrase, "Learn what you believe you already know," Epictetus calls us to make use of humility, especially in learning. Boasting about our knowledge distances us from authentic learning. By recognizing our ignorance, we can approach everything with the wonder and desire to learn that is characteristic of a child. Principle number 9. Guilt is synonymous with plague. Narrow-minded people blame others. Ordinary people blame themselves. But the wise see all guilt as foolishness. Thanks to this phrase from Epictetus, therapists nowadays approach guilt as a feeling to be eradicated. The only way to win against guilt is to refuse to play with it. Blaming others or ourselves absolves us of the responsibility to correct mistakes. Only those driven by a firm determination to overcome are capable of avoiding guilt while taking responsibility for their actions. Principle number 10. Make alliances with winning people. It's curious how, when someone sneezes near us, we immediately move away, fearing infection. However, we are not so cautious about avoiding one of the most lethal contagions: negative people. Epictetus advises us to surround ourselves with those who make us want to give our best. People's behavior greatly influences our state of mind. Some drain our energy, while others fill us with joy and vigor. Therefore, one of the smartest decisions we can make is to ally ourselves with those who bring good vibes into our lives and distance ourselves from those who make us regret being born. Principle number 11. Never forget that your reactions forge your destiny. We should not take our reactions lightly, as they are what determine our success or failure. Epictetus was categorical about this. He taught us that we do not have the power to choose what happens, but we can control how we respond to it. Misfortune can fall upon anyone, but what we do from that point onward marks the difference. For some, a divorce leads to depression. For Epictetus, it is a golden opportunity to embark on the path of self-knowledge. Remember, your life is not what happens to you, but what you do with it. Principle number 12. Always fulfill your duty. Each of us has a role in society and the world. Just as the sun rises every morning without praise, we must fulfill our obligations without expecting recognition. If we wait for praise or incentives to do our work, we fail ourselves and those who depend on us. If we know our task and others rely on it, it is our moral duty to carry it out without being reminded. Principle number 13. Do not hate those who hate, you simply ignore them. You are much bigger and superior to the one who criticizes, despises, or discriminates against you. Therefore, do not waste your precious time hating that person. They don't even deserve to be in your thoughts. Epictetus encourages us not to fear those who harm us. Instead, ignore them and become immune to their attempts at damaging you. Principle number 14. Bet on simplicity. Why live in frugality when we have the possibility to surround ourselves with luxuries? The answer is simple and logical. Wealth doesn't maintain itself. It requires commitment and daily energy to preserve. In contrast, opting for a simple lifestyle frees us from the pressure of maintaining luxuries and wealth. Principle number 15. When you allow others' comments to bother you, you hand over control of your life. Any person capable of making you angry becomes your master, but they can only do so if you allow it. Epictetus teaches that we have many keys within us. Some lead to happiness, others to ruin. The solution is to build a barrier that prevents us from being affected by others' attitudes. We are each the owner of what we say and choose to listen to. Principle number 16. Friendship is above wealth. True wealth is genuine friends. They will support us if one day our material fortune dissipates. Therefore, dedicate yourself to cultivating true friendships. They are a profitable long-term investment. Principle number 17. Always extract the benefit from things. Whatever happens, it is up to you to take advantage of it or not. These were the words of Epictetus. It is not about having the option to find the good in adversity. It is our duty. As long as there is intelligence in you, there will be the ability to find benefits in every situation. For example, if you lose your job, instead of despairing, see it as an opportunity to pursue a long-dreamed venture. Principle number 18. Stop worrying about what is out of your control. You are the owner of your opinion, but not your reputation. You have the desire to search, but you cannot control the amount of goods or success you have. Therefore, worrying about things beyond your control is a waste of time. According to Epictetus, we should cultivate the values we can change and let go of what is out of our control, leaving it to fate. This principle and Stoic teachings as a whole help us navigate bad times with resilience. There is no place for fantasizing in Stoicism, only for applying what is learned and moving forward. I hope you liked the video. Since you made it to the end, share your ideas with us and write Armored Wisdom in the comments. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. See you soon.